So Drew starts to order a sandwich, and I take a look outside the door of the Gelson's, or the Vons. It was Vons. And I was like, yo dog, I feel like I need to like go outside and check out soak up some of the sun and not have any responsibilities. You know, I'm always working. To which Drew's like, you don't have to explain it to me, man. Just like go outside and I'll check you out there when I got my Sammy. I'm like, alright, cool. So I like go outside and I sit down, and all of a sudden this guy like walks by, got like a little sideways hat, kind of like a bro kind of dude, and he walks up to me and he's like, yo, bro, you look like a guy that's like straight up ready to like go on stage like right now. And I was like, thanks man, you know, like I'm actually like a performing artist, so you know you're not far from the truth. He goes, no bro, like you look like you're ready to get on stage like right now, bro. And I'm like, yeah man, like totally. As a matter of fact, we're going to like this thing, it's a networking event, it's great, like here, give me my card. He's like, so what do you do? And I'm like, well, I like own a production company. And he's like, well, like my friend, right? She like basically took Led Zeppelin and took performance art and did Led Zeppelin to performing arts. And I was like, that's awesome. I'm doing this thing called Cirque to Rock parties on the rooftops of the Hard Rock Hotel. And he's like, hey, bro, my like best friend owns the Hard Rock Hotel in Cleveland, Ohio, yo. And I'm like, for real? He's like, yeah, you should like take down my number and my email, and you should like send me the package, and I'll like get you in contact with them. Now, like, what's really awesome about this is that when I was in Las Vegas, I said that I was gonna go do Cirque to Rock parties in Vegas, which is basically no rehearsals and open auditions for local talent that has acts to be paired with the Hard Rock hiring a world famous rock and roll band, and opening by local talent bands that have followings. The Hard Rock pays all the contracts of everybody involved, and I hold open auditions on rooftops with the head of the performing arts department, and they go, you're good enough, you're not good enough, you're good enough, you're not good enough. Everybody who's good enough then goes on the calendar for the Cirque to Rock parties, and I have the whole marketing campaign. It's going to be basically like Rolling Stone magazine cover lettering. Instead of saying Rolling Stone, it's going to say Cirque to Rock. Every person that's involved gets their own ad, and then all their social media platforms are on either side, just like the magazine covers. We like totally jock Rolling Stone magazine and do Cirque to Rock. And so I was supposed to have a meeting actually today with one of the people that could help me get into the Hard Rock Vegas. And this person was like part of a radio station and like talked a big game, was like, oh, I can deal with this and this and that. And like, just so everybody knows, 90% of the people that you talk to and what you talk to them about in Vegas is bullshit. So very rare that the connections that you make in Vegas actually turn into something. It's mostly people who are just bullshitting in order to try to sway whatever the hell that they're doing for their own means or self-defense. So I like let go of my attachment to it being in Vegas, and then now I get to talk to you about this thing called Syncronblisity. That's when synchronicity and bliss come together. So synchronicity are the synchronistic blissful moments of your life incarnate here on Earth. So what I would call is Drew and I hanging out and having an amazing meeting and leaving when we left, and him saying he was hungry, and like we stopped at a place first, and then we like went to a fucking Vons, and then we went into Vons and got like amazing Sammys, and like out of all of that, this conversation with this guy David, who has substantial connections, that is now going to be exercising and helping the vision of Soul Family Productions. So what makes me feel like I'm unique and special makes me like every other being in my law of attraction. So that means if Syncronblisity is in my life, it means Syncronblisity is in your life. So look for the signs and surrender to the flow of life, because you never know what's going to happen if you just go with the flow of life. I used to try, admit the possibility of defeat before I ever got started, to force things things into place in life and thought it was my responsibility, and that was going against the current of life. And I kept fighting and struggling and fighting and struggling until I surrendered, and the river of life hit me in the face, and I went with the flow. And every time I'm in the flow state and in the flow, the universe in partnership with me tends to always work out and puts the right situations and the right people. If I question why things are happening, I'm not present to what's happening. So the path of least resistance is surrender. And when surrendering doesn't work, you know what we do? Surrender some more. It's the art of surrendering to the will of creation and not fighting against the current of life. Brought to you by Amazeball Sunsets at 50 miles an hour up PCH on a Thursday. Nah, man.